Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. You're getting 2 for 1 this week, because I'm gonna briefly talk about the next character alphabetically, because there really isn't enough to say to warrant a full episode. So let's talk about Airwave. Airwave is part of the Sky Patrol, a set of figures and vehicles we discussed in my Airborne review. You've seen that, right? No? Well, then go find it. I'll wait. Like all Sky Patrol figures, his body is a repaint, in this case of the Motor Viper mold, while the head is an original sculpt. This figure is lame. The new paint job is uninspired. It looks worse than the original Cobra color scheme, and his head has a strange facial expression, so it's just kinda meh. Just kinda meh. Now there's a professional opinion you can only get from a top-of-the-line video reviewer. He came with the same folding nightmare of a parachute all Sky Patrol figures had. As far as his personality goes, we once again only have the file card to go on. And we get nothing. It's useless. Unlike, say, Airtight, where we got his personality quirks and background information, here we get nothing. We get 2 paragraphs about his job. He's the communications guy, basically. He's able to set up radio in any kind of circumstance. He's Breaker, without any background information. Sky Patrol Airborne at least got a little bit of characterization. You see, this is what I've got to work with here. That's why I'm duct taping this on the review of Alley Viper. There is one weird thing though. His name is Cliff V. Mewett. It's identical to the real name of a later figure, Colonel Courage. And they are most definitely not the same person with a new code name. Because this is Colonel Courage. I think you can spot the subtle differences. As far as I can tell, this was the only time the same real name was used on 2 completely different figures. Hasbro did have a tendency to use joke names or names of actual Hasbro employees or associates as the real names of Joes and Cobras, but I couldn't find anything for certain in this case. If there was a real Cliff Mewett at Hasbro, he was immortalized in 2 figures. Anyway, in conclusion, Airwave, bland figure, no personality, avoid. The only interesting thing about him is the minor mystery with his name. So let's move on to the star of today's episode, the Alley Viper. Oh dear lord. I think it's pretty clear what the problem is just by looking at this figure. You see, his torso is slightly asymmetrical, so when being observed it leads to a tiny fracture. Okay, it's the damn color scheme. Bright orange with light blue camouflage. Although using the term camouflage here might be stretching the term farther than any reasonable dictionary could support. The walking traffic cone here was released in 1989 and has all original body parts. All original bright orange body parts. He comes with a face shield, and this thing makes no indication that you can see through it in any way. You know, do you suppose Cobra Commander said to himself one day, "The Joes just aren't defeating us easily enough. Let's blind our troops and put them in bright, attention-grabbing colors." At least he also comes with a shield to stop the thousands and thousands of bullets coming at him once the enemy sees through his brilliant camouflage. Using every ounce of willpower I have, let's ignore the color scheme and focus on the other problems. His face shield is held on by 2 small pegs. If you're not careful when removing it, or if you happen to drop the figure, they can easily break, leaving the thing unable to stay on. Also, I don't know if it's the type of plastic used or what, but Alley Vipers have a tendency to get loose joints more frequently than other figures. Finally, his torso is a little bit too bulky, and it has enough pouches on it to make Rob Liefeld proud. Let's move on to the second figure they made of Alley Viper. Oh, I do apologize. It appears I've accidentally grabbed a toy from a different series. This one is clearly from the Batman franchise. Wait, since when does Batman use a Cobra shield? Damn, looks like it's a real G.I. Joe figure after all. They used a completely new mold for the second figure, because clearly the mold was the problem, not the color scheme. And we go from bright orange to bright yellow. I guess it's an improvement? I'll admit it looks better than the original, though that isn't difficult. I do like the Cobra emblem as a shield, and I do like this mold better than the original. Maybe Hasbro managed to improve Alley Viper even further with the next figure. Oh, what the hell? Welcome to the worst of both worlds. We've got Batman using a color scheme based on the original Alley Viper. And the orange is spreading! It spread to his gun! And you know, I can see what they were trying to do here. They were trying to do a nice homage to the original figure. But really? Orange again? Alley Viper came back in 1997 with the collector's edition from Toys R Us. It doesn't look that bad, but the line had serious quality control issues. I'll get into them eventually. Sadly, Alley Viper only later got his dues, with some nice figures from the 2000 and later lines. The colors are nice, there's no bright orange, and the quality is good. Well, let's move on to the file card now, shall we? The Alley Vipers are the Cobra equivalent of a police SWAT unit or British SAS, Special Air Service. Okay, those two things are in no way equivalent. The SAS are like the Special Forces, not a police SWAT unit. Later file cards did correct this and didn't mention the SAS, just a SWAT team. The file card basically describes them as ruthless, treacherous thugs, gorillas that you don't want to mess with. And I'm gonna stop right there because any comparison with actual SWAT teams is something I don't want to do. The file card might be going for social commentary, I'll let you decide. There'll be a link beneath my video on my blog. As far as the Alley Vipers' comic appearances are concerned, I can be very brief. They only show up a couple of times, fighting alongside other Cobra troops. Nothing of note to say there. That just leaves the cartoon. Now, Alley Viper came out too late to be part of the original Sunbow cartoon, but he was in the Deke cartoon, specifically the opening 5-parter Operation Dragonfire. Two weird things there. For one, he wasn't actually a nameless, faceless Cobra trooper. He had his own character and was the only Alley Viper in the story. And more weirdly, he didn't start out as an Alley Viper. He started out as a Crimson Guardsman and then transferred. Which is weird because, well, the Crimson Guard is already the highest level you can get as an ordinary Cobra troop. In the story, he is the contact for Scoop, a G.I. Joe that's actually a Cobra agent. The Alley Viper goes through the story trying to climb the greasy pole, stabbing his friends in the back, basically doing anything to get higher up in the Cobra organization. If you want to see more of Alley Viper, or you have a fetish for orange costumes for some reason, then I suggest checking out the Deke 5-parter Operation Dragonfire. I know Deke has a bad reputation when it comes to the G.I. Joe cartoons, but this is actually a pretty decent story and worth checking out. So that was Alley Viper. We saw the good, we saw the bad, and we saw the ugly. Oh my, did we ever see the ugly. Well, that about wraps it up for this week. See you next time, everybody.